Folks, we need to describe how Connecticut hacked America, and we need to talk about what the Secretary of State did to destroy the evidence of what they're doing. But in my hand is a very important document. First of all, let me introduce you to my document reader. This is a judgment in the Mark Kohler case, Secretary of State. But more importantly, maybe, is this document in my hand, which is a temporary restraining order brought against the Secretary of State before Denise Merrill resigned to prevent the destruction of records for the audit of the GEMS system outlined in the FOIA. Okay? So there's lots of documents, folks. They are required to be kept federally by the Connecticut State Statute, Chapter 148 of the Election Canvass and Returns Documentation. The TRO is described. And as you go through the document, the state claims sovereign immunity for the destruction of the records that they had a FOIA on, which violates spoliation doctrine. Here we go. The GEMS application software is proprietary, multi-user, multifunctional, Microsoft-based software that counts the votes. When you go through the document, you can go through various headlines. The audit trail to receive HAVA money means you need to have an audit, which was falsified. And here we go. ENS acquired Premier Election Systems, Diebold, in 2009 and was sold in March 2010 to a Department of Justice. Okay. The DOJ required ENS to divest voting equipment systems from Diebold, which is Dominion, and now own these systems in Connecticut. LHS is not only services these tabulators and GEMS, but programs in the memory cards, okay? The problem here is the memory cards. If you go through this document, which is extremely important, this report is sent to Yukon Voter Audit Center. Okay? What I'm saying is Yukon used the educational software network to hack America. Here we go. The individual permanent voter verified paper record, blah, blah, blah. It's required in 9266 and 9310. May not be open or destroyed, pursuant to 42 USC 1974. Okay? The memory cards contain the data of the ballot layout for the election. The memory cards use AVOS, which is part of GEMS, and the GEMS database. It's provided by LHS and must be used for the baseline in the audit. This says that GEMS exists, that the cast vote record exists. And if you look at what the judge said in the D'Alessio action, it said if they ever existed, they had to retain them. And the state of Connecticut, time and time again, says they didn't exist. When they're in the contracts, when they're in the state law, they're in the GEMS AVOS manual, and they obviously use the memory cards, which collect the votes, but the GEMS software adds them together. When you attach NoInc to GEMS, you can change the vote later. It's a database within a database that you can change the outcome. It's all very interesting, folks. But the perjured testimony of Gabe Rosenberg and Scott Bates is a problem. And when they lied, they broke sovereign immunity, which the judges have granted them. Did you hear what I said? There is no sovereign immunity when you lie to the judge. And here's the Connecticut statutes. Okay. Here's the Yukon Voter Audit Center responsibility. So the TRO by Linda D'Alessio, let me put it on the screen, the final page, so you completely understand. There is a court case in Waterbury from 2022 that is the smoking gun. I disagree. ES acquired Premier Elections Diebold, and ENS was ordered by the DOJ to divest voting systems, sold the assets to Dominion Voting. Soros and Zuckerberg. So what happened here? This is a crime against this is treason, folks. And the fact that the judges are saying, hey, it never existed. There's so much proof that it exists. And that required them keeping the documents. I filed a FOIA with Ted Bromley. She filed a FOIA with the Secretary of State at the time, who was Denise Merrill. What's going on here? Destruction of evidence after a FOIA violates spoliation doctrine. That is a federal crime. These people have committed federal crimes that void their sovereign immunity, especially when they hacked other states. Danbury hacked Pennsylvania, flipped Trump votes to Biden, made Biden president. Wisconsin was hacked, and Vermont, and Michigan. Those 4 states, being hacked by Connecticut, flipped the vote. And they used the connection of the schools as the back door to upload the thumb drives to flip the votes, or they can hack it with any phone. Any phone. So there we go. Here is a temporary restraining order stopping the Secretary of State from destroying records which they no longer have, and I ask them to be preserved by the Attorney General. The Attorney General here is guilty, covering up for the lawyer for the state, Scott Bates, and Gabe Rosenberg. So we're clear here. Thank you very much. I'm talking about how how elections are hacked and how the state of Connecticut is destroying the evidence after they were ordered to keep it, and the judge said if it ever existed, it had to be kept according to HAVA. Okay? HAVA. Very important, because Connecticut got $4.5 million from HAVA to buy the GEM system. Thanks.